this episode needs to go into a corner.
Think about what it's done.
Think about what it's done. I was going to try to do some sort of Jesus thing, but that felt irreverent. So rather than get smited, we'll just say, go in the corner. Think about what it's done.
Hello, and welcome to Trekkie Tuesdays. This week, Bread and Circuses, the penultimate episode of the second season of Star Trek. This episode seems to have been, in large part, a commentary on the fact that they thought Star Trek was about to be cancelled. It's satirizing 20th century network TV culture by depicting it in an alternate world where the Roman Empire has survived to the 20th century, and all of the same, we will kill your show if your ratings aren't good enough, gets ported over to we will kill you if your ratings aren't good enough. The 21st century cultural referent for this concept is The Hunger Games, which has the similar conceit of a high-tech adaptation of gladiatorial combat for the amusement and pacification of the masses. And of course, Hunger Games does the same thing as does here, of giving the people in charge Roman or pseudo-Roman names. Here we have the, apparently, I'm told anyway, the last example of the tactic of, without any real explanation, just declaring this world to be extremely Earth-like, except one different thing happened in its history, previously seen in the episode that turned out to be the Americans and the communists, and also in Miri, which was our world up to the zombie apocalypse, up to the shape of the continents in the case of Miri. Here, we get a lot more nods to it than we normally do, with Kirk even citing a sociological law that seems to explain why everything would be the same, including everybody speaking English, which turns out to be crucial to the plot at the end, so you can see why they might have unusually stated explicitly that yes, everybody is speaking English. All of that aside, the most obnoxious scene for both of us is the scene where Kirk sleeps with a very much not consenting slave girl for no reason.
Really bad, Kirk. You are not okay in my book right now. You've done a lot of skeevy things.
Usually when he sleeps with a woman, he has an agenda, and here he is just having sex with a non-consenting woman for fun.
No, there's no pretend reason why this is okay. It's all bad. This is a terrible episode. Terrible. It's like, one, there's gladiators for no reason. 2, Kirk sleeps with a slave girl for no reason, besides some writer thought that was hot. 3, it ends with Jesus for no reason. And also, not even in a good way. If you found out that Jesus was on this planet, or was recently on this planet, you would go to that planet again and be like, whoa, Jesus is on your planet too, or at least was recently? Can we dig up his grave to see if there are bones there? Did he really go to heaven? Because I have some questions about that. And they're just Uhura's like, no, guys, not the sun in the sky, the Son of God. And they're like, oh, right, Jesus. That's nice. We've been through that. Could you imagine? We could have maybe run into Jesus if we just went a few years earlier, and then they just moved on. No. Okay. So, what? It's like they had to have an episode about the Romans, but then they were like, well, but there's this one problem, which is the Romans don't believe in God or in one God, and that's kind of not okay for television, so we're just going to throw Jesus at the end there just to show everyone what the truth is, and then we don't have to be... whatever. That's not even the point. The point is, Kirk, what the heck are you doing? This is a terrible episode. It's not good. There's just much wrong with it, but especially that scene. I was like shouting at the computer. Just so sad. There was like a weird scene with McCoy and Spock right before when they were trapped in the cell, and I guess that was sort of interesting because I kind of like those Spock and McCoy relationship. I don't know what their deal is still, but I kind of love it. But that did not redeem the episode.
And it awkwardly swerves at the very end into being secretly having been about Kirk all along, even though it was
right. It didn't make any sense.
But that was cool. It's nice to see them acknowledge that, like, McCoy and Spock's relationship is not a normal working relationship, and they maybe don't understand what exactly it is, but...
yeah, they were kind of like, we can't tell if we hate each other or we're flirting, basically.
I was worried that it was going to be more rah-rah. Like, I was worried that it was going to end with the revelation that, like, everybody in Starfleet identifies as Christian now and has worked out what the one true religion is, which it's not. They throw in a throwaway line early from McCoy saying, we come here representing many beliefs. Which, unless you were spoiled for the plot twist at the end of this, which I was, you're not going to notice, but they put that in there. And then at the end, I think the reason they're not, like, thrilled by this is that they assume this is just another case of parallel cultural evolution. They see Christianity as a cultural phenomenon, and they're happy about it because they think it's going to make the Roman Empire better, which is a slightly to extremely rosy-colored way of looking at the impact of Christianity on the Roman Empire and the world as a whole. They did stop with the gladiator games, but the stuff they started doing, instead is not great.
I don't know a ton about early Christianity. Perhaps a religious scholar is watching this and could tell us all about the earliest Christians. Maybe.
There's more Prime Directive silliness where everybody is shocked and scandalized that somebody else would interfere with a primitive culture, while hanging to the barest of technicalities that are not even really anything that would hold up in court practicality or anything. Apparently, like in the Star Trek expanded universe, 100 years later, there's now, like, this planet is now a member of the Federation and has its own spaceships, so nice job not interfering there. The concept that they beamed down to rescue the crew of the ship that disappeared, and somehow they tricked every member of the crew one by one into beaming down voluntarily, as search parties for the previous ones. What kind of operation was that ship running there that would be a possible thing to happen? That would not happen. Like, you get suspicious after the third landing party doesn't come back, and then they make the captain, who they have bullied into helping this happen, they make him first citizen of the Empire, which is otherwise viciously xenophobic and refers to everybody who's not, everybody else from that crew as barbarians. And it doesn't occur to the proconsul that there's anything, like, weird about this until he sees Kirk not give in to it, and he's like, oh, yeah, right, I don't respect people who give in to the threat of force and betray their crew. I forgot these past few years. Why did I put him in charge of the Empire? Oh well, better stab him. The guy, that guy is a good actor, by the way. I feel like he was given, like, a really strange role that, like, demands bringing in a lot of different energies. Like, he's simultaneously a 20th century good old boy network suit, and he's an ancient Roman proconsul, and he nails it. I don't know how you do that, but he does it. never seen him in anything else. Wikipedia says he's like kind of bit roles in a lot of things, but his picture on Wikipedia is of him as that guy. Maybe that's just the role he was born to play. That's, I guess, all I've got to say about that one. I like alternate universes. I know it's annoying that they don't ever explain why this is an alternate universe Earth, but alternate history is fun. There's a Harry Turtledove series where he explores like the Roman Empire never falling in considerable detail. If you like your stories without actual story and just lots and world building, then alternate history is a nice genre to check out. Not that that's all it can be, but I think that's the most fun way to do it. Tune in next week for Assignment Earth, where Kirk and the gang visit a surprisingly Earth-like planet that is Earth in 1968, hence the name.
Whoa.
And
what an oddly specific year.
It was intended for a pilot for a completely different show that would be the opposite of Star Trek and that would take place in the present day and everything, and then they didn't cancel Star Trek and they didn't make this show, so I haven't seen it, but feels kind of pointless. Anything else you'd like to add, Sarah?
Just skip it. Skip this episode that we just watched. If you haven't already, if we made you watch it just so that you could watch this review, I'm really sorry. I don't know what to tell you.
We didn't even make any Roman jokes this whole review. No SPQR, no 1 meter ears. I'm so sorry.
Couldn't do it. It's too depressing, this show. Womp womp.